Good afternoon, all. How are we doing today?
Good afternoon, good.
Good afternoon. Good.
Sorry, my mic, my volume was off. Good afternoon. How are we doing today?
Good afternoon, good.
Afternoon. I'm
Good
good.
afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I hope you had a good holiday weekend. Did you all have a good holiday weekend?
Yes, I did. What about you?
It
Yeah,
was okay. It was good.
It was quick. It
Rainy.
was quick. Yeah, it was quick. We got through it, so thank God. So I trust that you had some time over the holiday weekend. We didn't just party straight through. We had lots and loads of rain. So we should have had some time to um, read the newspaper. Perhaps we attended our civic organization. This is our last class out of the book. Next week is just review. So you did it, you made it. So congratulations, you made it through this 4 weeks. Next week, like I said, it's just review, and then there'll be the exam the following week after. So very good, and congratulations to all who was able to hold on firm and stay all the way through. So very good. I hope that you would have all be in the WhatsApp group and would have been networking and working together and sharing ideas, and perhaps even ensuring that you all attend the civic organization together. Now, was today the final day to get your 5%?
I think so.
Okay, I think let me just pull it up and look at that instruction sheet. Introduction. And you all would have received a review sheet from me today?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
very. So what I did is I went with my updated, the office had sent me an updated list. I say I got 1 or 2 emails where the person said I'm not listed with anybody, but if you're not listed, we will just add you to one of the teams. And so the hope is that persons get together and they come up with 10 points that we can make sure that we go into the final exam comfortably. So I'll wait a little while. We'll talk about the newspaper. I'll check on the date for the civic organization, and we'll give persons some time, because I don't want to have to repeat anything in terms of what has to happen next week. So I'll wait for that. Is there anybody who hasn't shared with the newspaper, who wants to share or has been to their civic organization? Now, let me see, the final exam is on June the 22nd, and yes, June 8th would have been yesterday. So if you wish to get your 5% to sit in the exam comfortably, then today is your final day. Now, let me just pull up my grade so I can see who I have not heard from. Okay, is there anybody?
Yes.
Now, okay, good. As I was going through this list, there's some persons I don't know, and I was like, oh my God, this is the end of the class, and I don't know these people. And so definitely, I want you to ensure that you get all of the points possible today. So let me just tell you who I do not know. And I hope that they're here. Donnie Winters, is Donnie Winters here?
Man, Miss Bullet. That's me.
That's you,
Danielle.
right? Because I was like, I wondered if it was you, I said, perhaps this is Danielle.
Yes,
Again,
it
how do you
is.
pronounce your last name?
Yantum.
Yantom. Where Danny Winters come from? That's your alias.
That's a very old email.
Oh yeah, yeah, you sent your homework from there, and I was like,
Yeah.
so this place it. Okay, let me combine that. You wasn't even gonna get a grade?
Oh, don't, no, man.
Danny Winters, get your grade. Yeah, you spell his name now. Ganteaume. Okay. 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 So okay, good. We get you straight. No, now no more aliases because people is like who these people is. I don't know these people. Let me see. Who else? I don't know. That was on this list. Y'all all know Miss Bullet by now, right? I hope you all know because this is, let me do a list insert. I only have 14 pieces of homework out of 20%. So I don't know what happened in there. I know there's one more question, but I did ask you all to not wait until the end so we can ensure that you know where you are at. And let's see, yeah, the next last homework is due on Tuesday, June the 14th. Now, like I said, in order to pass the class overall is 70%. That means you have to get 100% on the exam. Okay, in the last 6 years, we've had one person get 100% on the exam. One person out of 10,000, right? We've had a lot of A's, but you would have to, you know, ensure that you get every single question right. And that's a lot of pressure. Okay, and so the course was designed so you can go into the exam comfortably with 30% and you know, you be halfway there, almost halfway there, right? And so that's the benefit of doing your homework. That's the benefit of participating in class. That's the benefit of getting that extra 5%. Now, let me look back at this list. See who else I don't know. Who else? Who else? There was somebody else. I was like, I don't know this person. Indira Adderley. Is Indira Adderley here? No, no Indira Adderley.
I don't see her on the screen. I don't see her name.
Right. Okay. Because
She's been present, but I don't think she has said it much.
okay, but I don't know, and I don't have it down for any point. So other than homework, I only know it because I would have received homework. Okay. And so in terms of, and let me know if you don't hear your name, because in terms of participation, I have Shakara, Nicolette, Lydia, Lottie. These are Satisha, QKL, Tanishka, Carrie, Joycelyn, and they are those persons are in the class. That's who I have for participation. So the rest of you.
I know my name is Paulette.
Yeah, my name is
I know my Nita.
I haven't heard Miss Audie's name either.
Oh Lord, Chad, let me see.
I remember last class you make a new list. So now you gotta merge the list.
Yeah, I'm looking at both lists.
Yeah, she separated the news persons who spoke about newspaper, and then you separated a person who did the civic organization.
Right, I did that. So who saying that they didn't hear their name?
I didn't hear my name.
Yeah, I said Parisia, so Parisia, you were fine.
I didn't hear
Shivana,
mine.
Danielle.
Shanika Jones.
Because Danielle, I didn't know who you was. I had
Miss Outstead.
Bria.
I don't have Shavana out. No.
Chelsea.
I have Shavana down for doing her civic organization, but not newspaper.
What about Bria?
No, you have me down today for the, remember I was supposed to do my presentation for the newspaper today.
Oh, okay. Right, so
Right.
that's why I don't have you on the list. Okay. So
Yes,
Shavana
ma'am.
is fine.
Shanika Jones. Chelsea. Hi. Bria did both.
Okay, Bria. I'm familiar with Bria and Chelsea.
Shanika Jones. Okay. For both.
And Danielle.
I can eat that full 30 to go in that exam.
Right. Okay. Chelsea. And okay, Danielle, I have you, even though I still don't know who you is.
Miss Bullard, you have me, Shanika Jones.
Shanika, no, you joined the class late, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any homework from you.
Not yet.
And I
Mhm.
don't have you on any of these lists. No, I don't have
But
you. on any
last
of
week I would have spoke on a newspaper article, and I think you said you had me down last week. You wrote my name down last week.
them. Okay, okay, Shanika.
And then
Okay.
Brittany for the civic organization.
Yeah, I have Brittany on that list. On that list, I have in D-Rox and Tisha, Bria, Carrie, Shavana, Chelsea, Joycelyn, Brittany, and QK.
But do you have me for the newspaper? Because I talk about the newspaper every class.
Yeah, I have Bria. I have Bria.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we good. So Shanika, no, you today. Okay, so raise your hand so I can know because I have some persons who would have raised their hand already, and we want to make sure we get everybody in with all their points. Okay.
Miss Bullard,
Yes.
I'd like to know what all I have, if I have anything missing.
Let's see, Joycelyn. Joycelyn,
I'm
I
sorry,
have
Miss-
homework. I have homework, newspaper, and civic. You have 30 points, Joyce.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Miss Bullet. Sorry. This Shanika here again. I didn't catch what you said just now. Are you saying I down this week?
You discussed the newspaper last week, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I have you for, just the newspaper. I don't have
Okay.
you for the civic and I don't have any homework.
Okay.
So you have 5 points.
Okay.
Okay.
Miss
What-
Bullard, you have me for anything?
Leah, I know I had you for homework. I have you for homework and newspaper.
Who did I get? Who? Bria?
Leah
Leah,
Store.
Leah.
Leah
Okay.
Store.
You have Bria for everything?
I
With
did
a B,
the,
yeah, homework,
civic.
newspaper, and civic. Yeah, Bria, you have 30.
Okay.
the civic is when we went to the meetings, right?
Yes.
Well, I talk about the meeting when I went to Toastmasters, but I didn't talk about the newspapers yet.
Leah, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you'll do that today.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so let's everybody try getting all their points today. Okay, so I'll go down the list. What about Nicolette Cox? I have you on the list, but I don't feel like I know you, Nicolette. I have you for homework, I have you for newspaper, but I don't know. I know the name is familiar because I know somebody else by the name of Nicolette, but I am not familiar with you.
I attended Toastmasters too and spoke about that.
Okay. So why I don't know you, Nicolette?
I don't know.
Okay then. Which class you spoke about? Because that's why it's recorded. So we
Not-
can.
Not last week, the week before that.
Okay. Okay, I'll check on that. Okay, I added your name to the list.
If you have Chicago there,
I should have you.
right, because we attended the same Toastmasters.
And I do have Chicago.
Right.
Miss Bullet, I must lose my 5% for the civic because I would have participated in some discussions and I did the homework and I read the newspaper, but I didn't attend any Toastmasters and I didn't even realize that this class would have been the last class to share with that. I saw the last message that someone sent in the group, but I was like, I don't like that topic. So if I had seen that this would have been the last day, then I would have still attended.
On anyway, right? Yeah, just get the points. Yeah, but I have you down for homework and I have you for participation.
All right, thanks.
Okay, good. So let's go to the raise hand. So we have Tanishka. You want to share with us? Are you getting your 5% for your civic or? you have a
Yes, my
question?
5% for the civic.
Okay,
I attended Rotary Club of Lucaya on Tuesday. I was my sister's guest, and they apologized to me for not having a guest speaker. But they had, instead of a guest speaker, they played Jeopardy. And I actually won 3rd place for
Okay.
answering some of the Rotary
good.
questions. So they said that they were impressed by my involvement and knowledge of Rotary. But the only reason why that happened is that the Rotarians did not frame their answers in the form of a question.
Okay,
So I kind of piggybacked on many questions, on many answers by rephrasing the answer in the form of a question. And what I learned, I did not write it down right away, and I didn't Google it to have it ready for today's meeting, is that Rotary first started in Chicago, Illinois back in 1905. There's a precise date, but I did not write that down. But I know it was 1905 in the state of in Chicago, Illinois. And I thought that was interesting, an interesting fact. But so that's my take from the Rotary Club meeting. And I was invited to come back next week, Tuesday, because they would have a guest speaker.
okay, and you are attending next week.
Yes.
Okay, okay, very good. And it's good that you participated, because like I said, the whole point is to network. Okay,
Yes.
and so get yourself out there, get your name out there, and people, like I say, at the end of the day, all of us will be qualified. However, if somebody already knows you, they say, well, I know Tanishka already, I'm gonna go with her. Okay, that's just how
Yes.
humans are. Okay, so very good, and happy that you found it beneficial and that you will return.
Yes.
Okay, okay, very good. Danielle?
Hello. Okay, so this week I would be talking about the civic organization. I would have attended the Toastmasters BPSU Majestic Marlins Toastmasters meeting along with Colette and Bria. They basically, it was a celebratory meeting, basically. They didn't really talk about anything specific, but they were celebrating all of their awards and giving out awards to all their members that they would have gotten, I guess, throughout the year. So what I learned from the meeting basically was that Toastmasters isn't only about public speaking. They actually do a lot of other things that they call pathways. And I think it's like 11 paths that you can go on to learn other things with general leadership and communication. The BPSU Majestic Marlins is a smaller club. And what I liked about what they said that if you were to join them, you can advance at your own pace. Like they don't force you. If you feel as though you're not ready to take that next step, it's a self-paced environment. They assign you a mentor, and the mentor basically gives you feedback, and they do evaluation. Just, I guess, to boost up, help with your confidence with public speaking and leadership and so on and so forth. The word for that day would have been relentless, and it means to be determined, never stopping your attempts of achieving something. And the president, Dr. Royanne Neely Morrison, she just basically gave a reflection of her year as president, and throughout that she used that word of the day a lot, which was cute. I thought it was cool that she did that. And yeah, they just presented their certificates, and that was basically it.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad you found it beneficial. And any plans to return or join?
I do, because in the past I have, when I went to university, I attempted it, but I'm so nervous of public speaking, like it terrifies me. So I went to one meeting and never returned. However, this group actually made me really feel comfortable, especially how they're a small group and they really try to promote a self-paced environment. It really caused me to consider joining. So I do plan on attending their next meeting that they have scheduled this month.
Okay, great, great,
Yeah.
very good. Very good. And Colette, you went to the same meeting?
Good evening, everyone. Yes, I went to the same meeting and I would not reiterate the same things that Danielle said. However, what I would say is that the pathways that were mentioned is so many. Some of them, they have different levels of mastery, innovation for planning, pathways for mentoring, distinguished Toastmaster, the Triple Crown, where you have 3 or more educational awards, the Energizer Bunny Award, which is someone who goes above and beyond and just does everything. And there's also the Club Shooting Star, and then the list went on and on. But for me, I am one of those persons who do not like public speaking, even though I have to do it. I start to get nervous and tongue-tied, and I found that this group is actually something that I would like to attend. I've sent in my information and completed the form, so hopefully I'll hear from them. But one of the things that highlighted for me was when DTM Verna Barnaby spoke about, what the club offers and how it's a self-paced one. And she went in to talk about developing people, developing their leadership skills, their communication skills, writing, grammar, interpersonal skills, team building, strategic planning, project management, conflict resolution, time management, personal development. She talked about seminars, graphic design, and basically, taking your time to do what it is, and you only get into Toastmasters what you put in. So that kind of struck out for me because I'm gonna go back again. I think we were supposed to be having, I don't know if it was tonight, but I'm gonna follow up with her because I actually do want to join. And coming out of this class, I'm just gonna make it a part of my every meeting. I think it's the first and the third Thursdays in every month. So I'm actually going to join.
Okay, excellent. Very good,
Yeah.
Colette.
Mhm.
And I'm-
Bullet, I've been there too.
Okay, yeah, so I'll let you speak right after. No,
Mhm.
I'm glad that Colette found it beneficial and want to go as far as joining. I used to feel the same way, have anxiety, mixed words and what have you. And I listened to a message I saw on Facebook, and they said, whatever you practice is what you become expert at. And
Yes.
so they gave the example of learning how to drive. You remember when you was a teenager, you couldn't drive at all, and now you're probably an expert driver, right?
Yes,
Because you
yes.
practice driving every day. And it's the same thing. The more you speak, the more you do the public speaking, you just get up there and you just don't care anymore because you
Yes.
would become expert at it. So it's the
Definitely.
practice.
Definitely.
Practice. You
And
just keep practicing and you'll be fine.
definitely. So while I'm here, before Bria takes over, Brittany takes over, I just want to share the article that I had read, and it talks about the director collects 41 million in real property tax arrears, and I think we had basically touched on this. I think several other classes about inline revenue collecting monies. Now, what I understand from this article is that the 41 million was in addition to, I think the whole total was actually 930,571,000 collected. But out of all of that, 41 relates to real property tax collected between January and May of this year. And for someone like me who worked in the legal field and who dealt with mortgages and conveyances, I could be wrong, Ms. Tynes, who's the attorney here, she can tell me whether I'm right or I'm wrong. I believe at the end of the day that the onus is on the attorneys and the persons who are dealing with these properties, because if the bank is now sending a mortgage to an attorney, and at the end of the day, the attorney has to do an opinion on title. That opinion on title actually encompasses saying whether this property is exigible to taxes, whether it's vacant land or home occupied residential or commercial, whatever it is. And the attorney at the end of the day, I believe, should be the person who goes and registers this property on behalf of the bank. And then after that, it's the bank's responsibility to ensure that the person pays if they don't pay. Because at the end of the article, it also goes into say about in the next 2 weeks, how the director intends to move into full collection swing, even though they're happy that they got all of this money. They're gonna now take in legal action, garnishing salaries, wages, dealing with the bank. And I think why they collected a lot of this money is because as a consumer, I don't want nobody going into my salary and telling me what I need to pay. So if I owe the government, then I need to go and pay the government. But inland revenue, as someone like me dealing with mortgages for years, they're too lackadaisical. I remember many times I've made application on behalf of persons buying property, and sometimes you call them a month later, too later to get a statement for the buying. Oh, we haven't put it in the system yet. So amongst that pile of paper you have there, when you're going to get it in the system, and at the end of the day, sometimes the customer, the client, the property owner, they innocent, you know. They know they've already come in and signed the real property tax form and do whatever they're supposed to do, but it has not reached of somebody's desk yet in the system. And when you think about the article in the paper, and it talks about how persons don't pay their real property tax, you know, we need to really get it together. So that's my take on that.
Right, and but you're saying that they collected between January and May.
Yeah, it says
Yeah.
between January for real property tax.
Right, but as usual, they only collect on properties or conveyances that are being transferred or being sold, or to that extent, not on the average person who has not done any type of transaction.
Yes.
So indeed, is it any different than what they always collected?
No,
Okay, so why would they report it as if
My point.
these people who've been on the rest for 20 years, that's what we get some money from.
My point exactly. And Ms. Bullet, like I said, I work with senior attorneys and senior partners and stuff. And I could be honest with you. And I work in, so like I said, I work in big law firm, major law firms. And I can tell you, some of these people living up in houses like hotels, some of them even ain't declared for real property tax. They're not even declared for real property tax.
Correct. And then the prime minister has asked for you to waive it for them because they're doing bad right now.
I'm telling you, I went in the system because I just wanted to verify one day. And I said, you know, let me go check on my boss's them property. Not even in the system yet. And I say, we going to hell in a handbasket.
Right, but they can fix it and they're ready to go full force. Good luck. I wish them the best. I really hope.
I know, right?
Get these payment people to pay something that they didn't pay for 20 years. Yeah. Okay, but very good, very good. Priya, you wanted to say something, or was it Brittany?
No, I was just saying that I attended the Toastmasters meeting as well, and they covered everything.
Okay,
So
okay, great.
I've been to Toastmasters and Rotary.
Excellent, Priya, excellent. And are you going to join any?
They sound like they want me to, but I really don't like public speaking like that at all.
But Priya, that's what we just finished talking about. You was listening to us. What we say?
Yeah.
How do you overcome your fear?
This has been like a long standing thing. I've never liked it, and I don't think I will.
Yeah, but okay, Priya, are you in management this year?
No, I'm not afraid to speak, but I'm in other civil clubs. Let me just put it like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm in other civil organizations, so I don't necessarily need to.
Okay, but like I said, practice is that's how you become great at it, and that's how you overcome whatever these I don't like and what have you. If you're gonna manage any type of team, you have to have huddles, and you never know when you have to.
No man, Miss Bullet, I get it. I get in that aspect. It's just I've been to so much. I don't like them.
Okay. Yeah. Understood. Okay. Very good. Brittany.
Yes. I read a article in the Tribune last week. It had to do with the changes in routes for drug trafficking. So basically, Minister Wayne Monroe was saying that he noticed a new trend in drug trafficking. Typically, the traffickers would come from South America or Central America. Now he's seeing trends from North America and Canada to the Bahamas, and they're using means such as vehicles, containers, and stuff like that. So he was just talking about how 90% of the guns confiscated off the road were traced back to North American manufacturers. So he just was touching on that trend and saying how they'll be liaising more with the Criminal Intelligence Bureau of Canada and the United States to try and get these traffickers off the road.
Right, but are they? Is it truly any different now, or is this the first time anybody could speak about the almighty America? Because the UN put out a statement. Now everybody have the kahunkas to stand up and speak on America. Is that what it is? Is it truly it's a new trend? Or the
That's
new
what it
trend is
said.
that we can finally say something about America without them shutting us down.
Yep.
I mean,
Oh.
I just ask you if anybody else noticed that, because you know, when a tourist got robbed, the U.S. Embassy put out all these warnings and level 4 threat and this and that. Do not travel to the Bahamas. Fred Mitchell spoke out against something that happened. He said, when they were having the riots, you know, after George Floyd and stuff, be careful, don't go out rioting. Remember, you're a Bahamian. This is where your embassy is. And they slammed us. They brought up everything that we do from 1960, right? So it's a kind of, if you speak on the US, you know, your country go in the door, right? It's not allowed. However, the UN spoke out first and said, that is what we had 3 domestic terrorism acts in 1 week. Come on, America, you must do something. So the UN spoke, and then the prime minister spoke. And now we've been saying these guns been coming to Life Key and Albany for how much years? Check those private yachts, right? But we was too afraid to say it. So okay, good. We support them. It's a new trend. Y'all ensure y'all are aware. Okay, that's my take. That's my 5 cents. Okay, y'all go listen to Miss Bullet now. Okay, very good, very good. Thank you for sharing that article. Thank you. Okay, Brittany, you want to add anything?
That's it.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, yeah, bleed the fit. Don't be like Miss Bullet. Don't be like Miss Bullet. Okay, good. Okay, so Alton, you want to say something?
Hi, good evening all. I had read in the papers today where a restaurant business owner from Gyros, he's looking to expand his business. I think where it deals with production and distribution of him making, I think, sauces and dressings for, I guess, whatever he sells, I guess the food that he sells at his business now, because I've never visited the place. And he's seeking to raise at least $850,000 to, like I say, to expand his business in 3 different areas where he wants it to go. One out west, he wants one to go down in the southwestern area, and then he wants one to go east, because he's now, I guess, he feels as though the Palmdale location wouldn't be that accessible for persons who live in the eastern area, so he wants one to go east. And then he also talked about where, I guess, when he opened up in 2017, his business, his business, like the revenue had, I guess, drastically increased now up to this day. So he's looking to, like I said again, he's looking to open up new locations.
Okay, and he is going through our WACX, correct?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, he's using, I think, that platform. Isn't that having to deal with cryptocurrencies too, right?
No. Now they have an aspect. Not everything is cryptocurrency. They may offer it.
Oh.
Okay, as a product, just like you offer savings accounts, credit cards, and then loans, right? So it's just a cryptocurrency is just a product that they offer. But what he is doing is on their crowdfunding platform. And so the first thing you do is you go to the Securities Commission and you make sure the company that he is using, which is our WACX, is listed as a registered licensee, right? So that's your first surety, which they are, right? And remember now, that platform is on the live platform, and so
right, I understand. I saw that there too. Right. I was really trying to find out exactly what it really is.
No, GoFundMe, right?
Yes, ma'am.
GoFundMe, same thing. It's called crowdfunding, where a crowd funds your business purpose. And so
is it the same thing as the FTX too?
What is FTX? What you mean?
FTX, isn't that the same platform too?
No, FTX is a cryptocurrency. That's another institution.
Okay.
They offer specifically cryptocurrency and digital assets and stuff like that. And see, that's just it. It's just the same thing as a financial institution. You have various products and services. You are going to select the one that is less risky to invest in. So the fact that they offer cryptocurrency has nothing to do with their crowdfunding platform, unless they, you know what I mean? cross lines and invest all the money in the cryptocurrency and they use it. But this is like GoFundMe, just like you know, Head Knows went to GoFundMe, and GoFundMe was for
was able to
Americans.
fund her. Right.
So this is our GoFundMe for Bahamians.
And now I now
right?
seen a lot of Bahamians now using the same GoFundMe platform to raise
Yeah.
funds. Yeah.
Right. So it's right. So it's our crowdfunding platform. So it's the same thing as GoFundMe. And so just how if somebody gets sick and we wanna give donations.
Yes, ma'am.
You get or give donations online to this platform. So instead of just using it for illnesses, they are saying we are a small business and we want to invest, and this company is we're going to use their platform and they are going to facilitate the collection of funds, and we are going to invest it to build our business. So you will essentially get shares and whatever.
Okay, see, because when I saw AWAC X, I kept thinking that it was something like I said, the FTX platform. I wasn't really thinking the GoFundMe, you know.
Yeah, they do that service as well, but this particular aspect of it is crowdfunding. Okay. We want 10 of you. You know, y'all ever saw a little meme that says this is how you become a millionaire? You get 10 people to give you $100, 50 people to give you 1,000, like that. So it's the same premise. They want to raise funds too, instead of going to get a loan or a grant, or you know, this is another way. You go out to the community, you give them just like shares in ADP in the port, or any shares. So
we will speak about the port.
Yeah, but I mean, I just saying it's just the same premise where you own shares in the company there.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yes, ma'am.
Platform they're using to invest. Right. Yeah, so don't just say everything is cryptocurrency.
No, when I saw it, what I should have done, I should have really, you know, Googled what AWAC's platform was all about, because I've heard persons who were a part of the same platform, but I was just basically thinking, okay, well, this was something like what the FTX is, something like that, like dealing with just basically what digital assets or cryptocurrency is.
They have a division that deals with cryptocurrency.
And then you have like several of them now spring up, because a couple of them spring up. And I saw, like you say, when you go on the Securities Commission, you will see all of them.
Yeah, but you could look at the type of license they have and see if which crowdfunding falls under, and see if they have that license, and then yes, that means they're allowed to do it, and yes, they are regulated. And so if there's an issue, you know, there are policies and procedures to follow, their laws out there. The guy who owned Galleria did it as well. What is his name? Chris somebody. He ran under the DNA. Was it that
Mortimer?
Yeah, Mortimer. He is opening up here in Prince Charles. I don't know if you all see this shopping center next to the gas station. They are promising that that's going to be oh Lord, what's the name of the food places now? Red Lobster.
The Red Lobster. Red Lobster is crossed off or not list now.
Sorry?
I said Red Lobster apparently is crossed off on that when you pass it, they blocked it out as if it's not coming there anymore. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. And where you see this place is?
Right next to the Rubis gas station.
Prince Charles. Yeah, Prince Charles heading east. Past Vauxhall Road.
Right.
Yeah.
On the right.
All sorts of different popular stores. Outback Steakhouse supposed to be there. I don't know why Red Lobster is crossed off. He did approach the crowdfunding as well. So he tried to generate monies to the Red Lobster. I don't know if it was successful or not.
Miss Bullet, I think IHOP is coming there also.
IHOP, right? Yeah. So a few of those popular businesses that, you know, when we go to Miami, we have to go there, right? So they'll be right there on Prince Charles. Yeah, and so he reached out to the crowdfunding platform as well. I don't know if I didn't follow it to see if it was successful or not. So I'm not familiar. But perhaps that might be the reason it mightn't have been popular, because a lot of payments just don't simply know about it, you know? And so that's why I'm saying, as compliance professionals, we want to be educated. And so when somebody asks our opinion, we say, oh, we crowdfunding. AWAC X, we don't know them people. No, we should know. Okay. And we don't want to get left behind technology wise. Okay, so follow that fintech hub, all of that information is there. Okay. Okay, very, very good. Thank you for sharing. Chelsea, you want to say something?
Yes, good afternoon. I just want to shed some light quickly on the sand dollar.
Okay.
So we have now, the sand dollar is now the first central bank digital currency that can be transacted with the use of facial recognition. So now SunCash, they partnered up with Pay, and that allows you to use your sand dollar using facial recognition. And now they have a broad span of different merchants where people could go on and utilize their sand dollars and stuff like that. And as of 2022, 14 countries have launched central bank digital currencies, and they're in advanced pilots, and approximately 90 countries, accounting for over 90% of global GDPs, are now currently using the sand dollar. So I just want everyone to read more into it because it's very interesting. It's very interesting. And as you guys can see, it's getting more advanced and more tech savvy for guys and for people who is interested into all of that. So I would just like to shed some light on that.
Okay, and thank you very much, Chelsea, for that. And again, you can also help your country because we are considered too cash intensive, right?
Yes.
And so the more we use the sand dollar, it'll help us to keep our rating down. And of course, you know, we're working strategically to keep that down. And this is why the governor placed it through the money services businesses because they're cash intensive, right? So it's all in the plan to help us reduce, keep our rating at a moderate level. Okay, so do it for your country. Okay, very good, Chelsea. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, Leo.
Yeah, I wanted to speak on the newspaper. So for this week, they were to talk about the 13-year-old boy who got shot, Quentin McKenzie, BPL plan for the summer, the plane crash in Long Island, and potential monkeypox case. But what I really want to talk about is from yesterday's newspaper in The Guardian. Mr. Wayne Monroe, we spoke about crimes increasing up to 26% compared to last year, May 31st. And so he spoke about how he believes that crime has increased because of lack of education and job opportunities. And I would want to say that I agree. And I think people are idle because they don't have a job, and and some persons don't have much knowledge to obtain a good job. So since they're idle, they have more free time to commit these crimes. And what else he spoke about? So,
but what is the solution, Leo? Because what I'm saying is he is in position now to make a change, right? What is the solution? Stop telling us what we already know. We already know we have a D average.
Yeah.
Right? We already, was it this class where we spoke on when I said, did I attend, or there was the government school graduation that was all combined? And there was 100 diplomas out of 5,000 students. So 4,900 attended. Was it this class?
No, it wasn't.
No, we didn't speak about it. Okay, so
No.
I think it was in 2018 or 2019. Somebody came up with this great idea where all the government schools graduates would, the graduation would be combined. And I guess they said, well, there's only 100 of them that graduated. 4,900 got leaving certificates. Okay. And so therefore, what do? Put it out on the blocks? I mean, you know what happens when you have an uneducated mind and you're hungry and you're angry and it hurts. Okay, that's a bad combination. And so therefore, we need, it's time to stop talking and find solutions, because if 4,900 come out, we need to be like Greece. And a lot of the Greeks, they run away because when you graduate, you're forced to go to the army. So parents pack their young boys up and they move all the way to the Bahamas. You see, we have a big presence here. And so are we not lacking on the defense force and on the police force? Make these children go to the army, do something, but God forbid. And that was in 2019. And I only noticed that because it was combined. But how many years has this been happening where 90%
18
of
or
the
19.
students, yeah, 90% of the students can't get a job paying more than 210. Okay, can't. And so therefore, we have, what do you do with them? You can't keep them in school.
But I think we spoke about this, and I think someone had mentioned the fact that UB and BTVI is offering free to, I guess, tuition, free scholarship or whatever.
Free
So I guess
with five PGCSE for UB. So
I
scratch
was
that.
gonna say
Remember now,
that also comes with
we don't even have,
requirements.
we have a leaving certificate. So scratch UB. Now let's go to PTVI, which I signed up for a class to assist some people who were some of my nieces and my nephews who been to school and didn't do what they were supposed to do. So I was like, come on, we go into school, and I didn't trust them enough to go and show up to every class. So I joined the class with them, and I sat in the class with them, and they couldn't do it. A lot, BTVI is self-taught. It's truly a technical school because everything was online, and they just say, okay, do this maths. And so I sat there working through the maths. Me and my daughter sat there working through the maths, trying to help them. And it was some things that I couldn't even do. Okay, so I don't know. But if you didn't pay attention in high school, now you're 18, who will make you go to BTVI? Even though it's a good thing that it's only $25. Who will make you do that? Because I literally had to sit there with them. And do you know, it was 5 of us at first, only 3 of us finished, and I was one of the 3. So that's really only 2 of them who unemployed and uneducated with kids. Because I said, come, we need to fix this problem. Keep borrowing or keep helping you or whatever. I help you. Like they say, give a man a fish, you feed him today. Teach a man to fish, you give him, you feed him for the rest of his life.
But Miss Bullard, this is Tanisha. We have to, okay, you don't like to hear it from strangers that we're a D average or we're dumb ducks or whatever description is given. But I know, okay, I'm gonna use my father as an example. When he went to St. John's way back in the day, there were students ranging in ages. He would have been age 16 when he finished St. John's, and there was a student who was already 21. There was no shame in your game if you got repeated, but by the time you finished, you knew how to read and write and put your numbers together and whatever else. And I'm not gonna call the classmate's name, but who was 21 in my father's class, but he is well loved in the Bahamian community, so, but we like a lot of parents now, if you tell them, oh, your child has to repeat a grade or 2, the parents are like, no, my child will not repeat. And they take the child out of that one school to put them in another school.
Correct. They cite the teachers.
So a lot of parents are at fault for how our own educational system is viewed.
Because Tanishka, these same 4,900 people or persons went and had relationships with those together, and they produced 4 and 5 children uneducated. And so now we are seeing the net effect of all of this, and that's why we have this amount of people graduating with a leaving certificate, and it's okay. You couldn't do it, I couldn't do it, and some of you in here can't. I blame the parents 100%.
But some of those same individuals who leave school with a U with their BGCSE will come and ask you to help them get a job. That's the thing.
Right, but not only that, but what else do they have except to steal and kill and rob? What else do they have to turn to criminality if something is not done. I mean, it ain't fair that, some of us responsible, but what else?
Well-
And to us being the educated or the ones in the working class, they can rob us.
Well, I believe in the
You
tough
see?
love. I personally believe in the tough love, but I don't think the masses, my fellow Bahamians, I don't think the majority of us,
No, we clone and we
we
cloak and
can't think,
we hate the truth. If you
yeah,
speak the truth now, you are ostracized. You better
yes.
turn a blind eye and pretend ain't nothing wrong. You better turn a blind eye. How dare you speak of somebody who's 21? He was doing his best, Tanishka.
No, but he was doing it. But the thing is, his parents, they saw that he needed extra time in school. And so by the time he was ready to leave school, he was 21. And like my father, he always when he gets into his memory mode, telling stories, he would say how the kids, when you're rowing each other and you're trying to give them little pot shots, he'll say, so they'll be like back and forth, and then just as a winning hit, they'll say, well, I won't be when I graduate, I won't be able to vote though, just
Yeah.
to hit back at, but but when you talk to people now, a lot of those people who repeated back in the day, they are ashamed at times to say that they repeated. Only Perry Christie ever talked about how he get kicked out of school and his daddy cry, and then he say, you know what, let me get my act together. But he's one of the few who would say, I actually got kicked out of school and I had to get my act together, and here I am as prime minister. You can
Yeah.
do it too if you take the energy to, but it has to be from the individual who needs to pull up his or her bootstraps and get
like
it
you say,
together.
the parents fighting the teacher. I adopted some children about 10 years ago, and it wasn't by choices. I had no choice, but I got 3 extra bonus kids, right? And I already had 2 of my own. And when I went to the school, in fact, I moved them, and I said, I can't go to 3 different schools every morning. Everybody has to go to the same school. And so when I approached my children's school, they said my daughter had to repeat, right? And I said, Mom, I just get 3 extra children. There's no way I could pay for another year's school fee. I can't even pay this year. So definitely not. But they said, well, we can't accept her. Okay. And so I said, okay, it's nothing I could do. I can't drop the 3 different schools, repeat her. She graduated last night as a head girl. That was 12 years ago. Okay. And so
But
I've
you had to
seen
bite the
over the
bullet.
years, I had to
You
bite
had
the
to-
bullet.
you
I
had
had
to
to pay the
bite the
extra
bullet.
year of school fee. I had to, you know what I mean? And I said, miss, I pay an extra year school fee. You better get me a box. You better,
Yeah.
And after maturity, I never even had to look back at them. They just knew at a certain point, you go and do your home schoolwork. I didn't even have to help them at a certain point. And last
Right.
night, she graduated as a head girl of her class.
There you go.
And she got almost every award in every subject.
And the thing is, she probably saw that look in your eye when she had to say, listen here, girls, you don't even have to say
Yes.
that to her.
It was all about it's 3 extra, it's 5 of y'all better do your school.
Right. She could hear
Yeah.
your disappointment in her, and she was like, you know what?
I have to do this.
I have to do it.
I have to do it. And so, as I matured, I saw that when, persons started to come to me and ask me for advice, I said, let them repeat. Nothing is wrong with repeating.
Right.
It surely changed her aspect that she had to do a whole another year again. And now she paid attention, and it just changed her entire life.
Right.
Okay. So, I am so overwhelmed by the training that our parents gave us, because that was wrong. A lot of things, these stereotypes and what you had to do, it just doesn't make sense anymore. I guess the times have changed. It just doesn't make sense anymore because, you know, we were still worried about the money or the embarrassment, or we don't want nobody to say our child repeat it. My God, look how it 10 years later it helped out, you know.
Right. Well,
So
and
I blame the
also,
parents, man. The
well,
parents need to get in school. The parents need the training. Every time they let somebody off the maternity board, they say, or that 9 months, if you coming on this maternity board for free, come to this class. Child
right.
raising class is something.
Well, also, I know even with my own family, I have a cousin with a learning disability. And at first my aunt she was like, learning disability, what is that? That don't make no sense. He doesn't have a learning disability, he's fine. And so I'm like, Auntie, you need to check this boy out. She said, there's nothing wrong with him. So I'm helping him with his homework. And I'm like, this is obvious he has a learning, his letters were all mixed up. And so when you decipher like his stories that are his essays, he understands what he has to do, but when he writes it, you're like, oh my goodness, there's a problem. And finally, my aunt had to, like, somebody else had to come in and say, he has an issue, it can be helped, but you need to be supportive.
Right.
And that was a major factor in my cousin doing well in school, because somebody else had to come in and tell my aunt, Miss, get it together. He needs extra help, you know?
Yeah, the tough love that you spoke of.
You have to do the tough love.
Yeah, very good. Leah, I'm sorry that we took over your story.
Sorry.
You want to add anything? I'm sorry, Leah. Leah,
And
you
I
wanna
just wanted to say, and I guess in the article, he just spoke about the statistics. So while I am glad he spoke, I guess he's one of the few ministers who I've heard spoke about statistics in a while. I'm glad that he brought the facts. I agree, there aren't any opportunities for persons like that. So I wish they would have more opportunities and not just say every year, oh, the crime rate going up because of people idle and whatever else. So yeah.
Yeah, and Leah, that's why I am beckoning to everybody. We need lobbyists. We need people who will really go out there and make a difference, not get rich fast or who just want the recognition, but we need movers and shakers. So please, I encourage all of you, whether it's compliance or any other aspect, continue on this journey, and go further to help your country and then even internationally. We have a lot of issues that need to be fixed, but I don't know. We need some new players. We need some people who passionate about actually making a difference, work community by community. Okay.
Miss Bullard,
Yes.
do you know when the next class is going to be offered, the intermediate class?
Can you go online to BIF's their website, because I just saw they sent out some communication saying, but I didn't look
Summer
exactly at the
semester
date.
2 intermediate, I think, begins August 18th.
August 18th. Okay. Okay, so definitely when you go to sit your exam, please see Mrs. Dean and register. If you don't get to do it before, you can call on the phone and register, or register online to secure your spot, okay?
Miss Bullard, what time is the exam, the final?
It'll be at 6 p.m. It'll be from 6 to 9.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Shanika?
Well, excuse me, one quick question. Sorry, Shanika. Is it going to be in person?
Yes, it's in person.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll talk more about that in the review class. I'll give you all the rules and regulations and the do's and don'ts next week. Okay. So Shanika?
Hi, I just wanted to basically share about the Toastmasters meeting that I attended last week, Thursday. It was with Toastmasters First Bahamas Branch 1600. The meeting was at 8 p.m. and it was held at Breezers. Basically that.
How you get to that meeting, Shanika? That's an all man.
It's an all boys, but I was about to say that.
Oh,
it was
okay.
It was an all. I know someone who is a member of the club. And I basically explained to him like my situation. I need to get the Toastmasters meeting like ASAP because class is coming to an end. So I just need to sit in, just see what it's
Get your
like.
points.
It's an
Yes.
all-male club?
Yeah,
Yes,
it
all
is.
males club. And so each year in February, they invite the ladies at Valentine's. Have a Valentine's special. Sometimes it's raunchy and sometimes it's okay. But yeah, so okay, good. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Shanika.
so I just sat in to spectate, and this meeting in particular basically had four past presidents, and they were basically discussing, how the club is growing from when it first started until now. And the chairman for that club that night was Distinguished Toastmaster Roderick Holbrook. And the word for the day they had was prerogative, which basically means an exclusive or special right, power, or privilege given to a person. And also that night's Prime Minister Brave Davis, he was pinned with a Toastmasters medal that night. So I guess I was lucky to witness it.
Okay, so very good. So was there discussion?
They
Or
they didn't really have anything in particular they were discussing because it was past presidents night. So
Okay.
for the past presidents that were there, they basically just, I guess, it's going down memory lane, talking about how the club is basically growing from inception, like when it first started until now. So they were basically talking about that kind of stuff.
Okay, good. Very
Okay.
good.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
So very good. I'm glad that most of you found the organizations beneficial and you want to join and you want to get out there and network. Because like I said, it's all about uh friends, family, and lovers, right? But if you're educated, there's nothing wrong with that. So if it's your friend or your family, because they know you, give you a little hand up, you have to be educated and qualified. The problem comes in when you're not educated and qualified, right? And that causes a big issue. But get out there and make sure your name is known and network. Okay, so we have 19 persons here. And so we will start. Let me see if I can share my screen. Yeah, I have so many things open. Okay, let's see. Let's look at this sheet that I sent. So for next week's class, we are going to review from chapter 1 and to chapter 8, which 7 and 8, which we're going to cover tonight. And so what I did is I paired you up into groups. And again, the review session is only as good as the time you spend and the investment that you bring to it. Okay. So each person was put into a group or paired up. And so the expectation is that you contact the person and you arrange some time and you come in with 10 points on each of the particular topics. Now from 1 to 10, of course, we know the exam is 15 multiple choice and 7 essays. From 1 to 10 are primarily essay questions, with the exception of question 2, which is just the fine for tipping off and failing to disclose. And of course, I think I've said this is the most incorrectly answered question on every single exam. There are normally 2 questions. The fine is the same for both. However, persons always get one wrong because they guess, and I say this every single class, and it does not matter. It's still our most wrongly answered question. Or out of the 2, the persons either get one right or all wrong. Okay, so we expect 10 points on each of these topics. Now, please don't come with a PowerPoint presentation. Don't come with an essay. Don't do none of that, because what the thing is with compliance is that we have message overload or information overload. Okay, and so we want to scale down the information, and we only want we don't want extra foolishness that won't give us points. Now, when persons are speaking, I normally go through and I say no points, and people seem to be offended by that. But again, it's just to help you. But so you all let me know what's the best way to give feedback on what style y'all wanted to, how y'all wanted to work. Okay, but I normally just, when you start to talk about crimes, if it's not relevant, then I say no, don't stop, just stop. Okay, Shabana, you want to say something?
Yes, Miss Bullet. I noticed when I scroll down this list, I don't see my name there.
Okay, so who?
I saw where you have Miss Carrie. I see where you have two.
Yeah,
two.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's take, is Carrie here?
Yes, ma'am. Carrie, yeah, you have her for
No,
statutory.
but I mean, is she in the class?
Yes, ma'am. I think that's
So
the nation
is she here
before.
today? Is she here online now?
I'm not sure.
No, I
You have to
don't
go through
think.
the list.
Yeah, I think she sent me a note. But Carrie, are you here? Okay.
This
Hi.
is Christina.
Yeah,
I sent you the email.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna take you off statutory requirements. You just do number 7, okay? Along with
yes,
Janae Lightborn. Is Janae Lightborn here?
She name Genevieve
or Janae? No, we don't even have a Lightborn. See, and they were saying this is an updated list. Okay, so
I'll just do the rest then.
You want to do the rest, Shanika?
Okay. Shabana.
No, okay. I will stay right where I am.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll do the rest then.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, and Shanika and Carrie May will do number 6, statutory requirements. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anybody else who does not see their name? Okay. And is there anybody who does not know the person that they are paired with?
Miss Ballard. I'm still not.
Right. So Christina, we are going to add you to group 1.
Okay.
Okay, so get with the persons in group 1, and are you in the WhatsApp group, Christina?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what about your participation and your other points?
I don't have any participation points.
Right, you don't have any points. So read the newspaper, and by the end of the class, we give you the opportunity because we know that you joined late. So get some points, and then make sure your homework is in on Tuesday, okay? By Tuesday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, so you can be comfortable in the exam. Okay, so is everybody clear on what needs to be done?
No, Miss Fuller, that's why I was just going to ask if you could repeat again what exactly.
No, not clear.
Okay, so get with the person in your group, and each group is assigned a topic. So number 1 says money laundering, terrorist financing, proliferation crimes. So when we were in chapter 1, we looked at all the crimes that fell under money laundering. I think it was 21 crimes. I think around question 9, we saw, page 9, we saw that some of the predicate crimes of fraud, theft, counterfeiting, drug dealing, corruption, and bribery, right? And so we want you to come and bring us 10 points on those crimes. And of course, we need real life case examples. For a lot of what I saw in the homework was that persons created an example rather than a real life case. You don't get points for the created examples, you get a point for the real life case. So if you were to speak on counterfeiting as one of these crimes, then you would of course say what the definition of counterfeiting is, that it's a money laundering crime. And then a very popular case is the George Floyd case. So you want just an overview of what happened in that case to, the proof your understanding, because remember now we're testing comprehension, not memory, comprehension. Okay, and so normally I would say in terms of examples or in the exam, we only want 1 pages in the exam, 1.5 page the most. And so 3 3 examples would be your limit. But if the question specifically asks you for 5 or 6, then you need 5 or 6. Normally, a question like this will ask you for more than 3. So you would need to have more than 3 cases. In fact, you could just list 5 or 6 of them and then have 3 cases, and that would still give you full points. Okay, very, very easy question to answer.
And when you say cases, you said real life cases, like.
Yeah, like George Floyd was killed over. He essentially went to a store and he paid with a $20 bill, and they assumed that it was a counterfeit $20 bill, and they called the police.
Okay.
It just spiraled out of control after that. Right? We all know who George Floyd is, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, any questions?
And it's basically like that for every question?
Yeah, for every question, except question 2, where we specifically want them to go into the correct version of the law. We had somebody come and bring us 10 points on the 2002 fine for tipping off. It was completely wrong. We had somebody write an entire essay on the wrong year. So when you Google, automatically the oldest laws come up first. Please check to make sure it's the 2018 version of the POCO Act, and make sure you come with the correct fine for tipping off and for failing to disclose. When it comes to terrorism, the same thing. Small overview of what terrorism is, 2 or 3, 1 paragraph, and then you go talk about the cases. Is this prevalent? It probably say compare and contrast Bahamas to the US or something to that effect. So you want to talk about the US and then about Bahamas. It depends on what the question is. I think one question was in the homework. So you can look at the homework question, see how it was written. The IMF, we talked about there was a 3-fold contingency plan in terms of disaster recovery. We know they came in, they told us to update our disaster relief plan. What did we do? We want to make sure that we can explain all 3 of the things that we did to satisfy disaster recovery. We want to say why it was important. It may say in 218, it may say, you know, a particular time. So we have to know that Hurricane Dorian happened in 219, and that was very important at that time. Okay, that saved us. And then the FATF deficient recommendations, you want to go to the CFATF report. You want to look at the key findings. You want to pick out 3. Of course, we know right off the bat, recommendation 1 was not satisfied. What did the Bahamas do? There was an update sheet that tells you what did the Bahamas do in terms of the risk-based approach. We know right now, we updated the law. We in section 5 of the FTRA, we made risk assessments mandatory. There's a group that is working to complete the Bahamas risk assessment. There are strategic plans in place, like we created the sand dollar, so we don't come overall as cash intensive, stuff like that. Statutory requirements, we know that there are 5 statutory requirements. We want to list all of them. Identification. Somebody help Ms. Bullet, the MLRO, reporting, training, and monitoring, and then record keeping, and then we want to explain 3 of them. Okay, people like to explain identification. Easiest one to explain 2 or 3 things about identification, or they like to explain training, 2 or 3 things about training. We know it's mandatory. Point right there, it's mandatory. The risk framework, again, we know back to recommendation 1, countries must assess their risk and put controls in place. We know there's risk appetite, risk assessment, and then risk rating. We want to say what the risk appetite is. For example, do we accept pets? Do we not? Do we do business with high-risk countries? Risk assessment, again, assessing your risks, and you want to mitigate the risk. You want to complete a control library. You want to document your risk. one of the documented risks is that we have persons to sign on all checks to mitigate fraud, right? With risk rating, some of the categories, of course, we know we risk rate high, medium, or low. And if the person is risk rated high, then we complete enhanced due diligence on them. And then court orders and red flags, and we're going to discuss right now in chapter 7 and 8. And then customer due diligence. Same thing in terms of at onboarding, a profile is created. We want to corroborate the information that we receive. We want to make sure it makes sense. We not only want to make sure that the signatures match, but if this account is open up for cryptocurrency, we want to ensure that persons stay within their profile. If they say 3 or 4 transactions, we make sure that's all that's done. Okay? And we monitor the account throughout the entire relationship. Okay? Any questions?
Miss Bullock,
Yes.
question. Sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
do have a question, darling.
What I wanted to find out of this, okay, all of us are paired off in groups and we're doing these different sections. Would we be able to see, would I be able to see somebody in 8, 9, 10 or one information once it's done?
I don't understand your question.
Okay, what I'm saying is each one of us are paired off in groups, okay? That's 10 of us. Would all the group be able to see everybody's information that is prepared?
Yeah, so you come with your sheet and you write down what they say. You take notes.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose. So you don't have to go out and research.
This a form of like talking thing, right?
Yeah. So that's why I say no PowerPoint presentation, no essays. You just come within your group, you decide who's
information
going to
and you
speak.
just present.
Yeah, you decide who's going to speak and everybody else takes notes.
Okay.
So you walk away with 10 points on each, and then you make a decision. I am going to answer the question on risk. I'm going to answer the question on money laundering. And then you go and study. Whatever you would have done your homework on, you know that's one of your questions you're going to answer because you've already done that research.
Okay.
And you would have gotten your grade back and you know where you stand with that.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Lottie?
so when you say 10 points, Miss Bullock, you mean 10 talking points, or this is 10 points per person per essay or whatever this is?
No. So whatever your topic is, you need to come with 10 talking points on that.
Oh, talking points.
Yeah. So on the FATF, you can go on, but they came, was established in 1989 and do all of that, but you won't get any points for that. So you want to go specific, the FATF deficiencies, the Bahamas, recommendation 1, recommendation 6, recommendation 7. What were they? Risk assessment, terrorism and sanctions framework. This is what the Bahamas did. End of story.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Lottie, go ahead.
All right, Ms. Billard, should we keep it in about 10, 15 minutes? Is it a time limit?
No, as short to the point and as quick as possible. Hopefully this class won't be more than an hour and a half.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, as quick as possible, because remember, it's very easy to overload on information. We want you to do your research and scale it down and say, this will give you the point.
Okay.
Right?
It's a heavy topic.
I know.
Yeah, but again, it's a lot of information. Scale it down.
Ms. Bullard?
Yes?
Is it okay for us to share this information in our group chat?
Sure. Do whatever, work together, share it. Somebody take notes and share all the notes, whoever is the best note taker, but do not walk away from this class without having your own information. Don't rely on somebody, because everybody will be busy studying and deciding which points. So I recommend that you come with your sheet and you fill your sheet out based on what person says, and then you walk away and decide, okay, I only need to do a little bit more work on these 7 topics. This is what I'm going to go with. Okay, do not answer 8 questions. We will not mark the 8 questions. Okay, and people say, Mark, you know, we do 8 or we do all 10. No, you don't have time for that. Okay. Priya?
Yes, my question, not question, I just want to summarize what you said. So it's 7 questions on the exam. One of the questions we should just automatically do is our homework, correct?
Yes.
One is the homework. The next question would be whatever group you put us in, we would already have prior research to that. So
Yeah,
that's
so
2.
do that. Yes, 2, right.
And then
But
we
Priya,
just
let me
pick
just
any
say this.
other.
With the homework, I've seen people just remember. They answered the question on the FATF and they remember it and they say the same thing that they said in homework. It won't be the exact same question, but you
But
will
you say we
already
don't have
the-
time to do all of that in the
Yeah, what I'm
exam.
saying is read the question. Each question will have 3 parts. Please, or 2 parts. Please read the entire question because I have persons writing essays and they say, I'm going to talk about Priya, Shivanya, and Lottie. And they talk about Priya and Shivanya and they forget Lottie. Okay, so read the question. You won't be able to copy and paste your homework, but that should have already given you sufficient research to answer questions on the FATF or on due diligence or on placement. Okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
so the remaining 5, we could just choose whichever, and
Yeah.
then it's expected like 1 pages each in
Yeah.
the exam.
A page and a half the most, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Shabana?
Hi, yes, my question to you is, okay, back on my topic, which is risk framework. I heard you mention something about recommendation, but I didn't get that part. Was that recommendation 1?
Yeah.
The FTA or what is FTRA? What it is?
Okay, so
The FATF, sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
No. Recommendation 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's the FATF recommendation, correct?
Right. Yes,
Remember,
ma'am. Okay.
we had to write it into Bahamian law, right? So if you go into the FTRA 2018, you will see that we wrote it into Bahamian law and made it mandatory under Section 5 of the FTRA 2018.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, I missed on that one. I got everything else, but you talk about risk appetite, risk assessment, and risk rating.
Right.
And in that, you want me to basically explain what those 3, well, actually what those 4 is all about.
Yeah, and go into the chapter and see if you see anything else that is relevant that would give us.
Now, I know you said you want the meat. You don't want nothing that's too,
No, not too detailed, but there's criminal risk, reputational risk. You could pick one of them and say something about that. Remember now, you want to make up 10 points.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to say one of the benefits of the risk-based approach, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then you want to talk about what makes up the framework. And then you could say, you assess the risk, you want to assess delivery risk, customer risk, and geographical risks, and products and service risk. You could say 1 or 2 of them to, again, prove that you comprehend.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
Okay, Miss Willard, me here again, Colette.
Okay.
Back to 2. Can you go back to 2 for me, please? Because I remember you said, make sure that we find the latest act, which is I think the 2018, because I'm glad you said it because I did Google today and I did find the 2001. So I have to scrap that and go back for the 2018.
Yes.
This is actually on 2 different sections, which is, I think, failure to disclose in section 43 and tipping off. No, that's what I'm saying in the old one I found.
Right.
Yeah. I got to go back and look at that. And what are you expecting from section 2?
Just tell us what the penalties are and what is failing to disclose and what is tipping off.
Okay.
Yeah, and make sure the penalty is you read the law properly.
Okay.
To see what the penalties is, because it says this is the penalty for the laws under, I think, 9 to 12.
Okay.
But those 2 laws are 13 and 14. So you got to go to the second part. And that's why persons continuously get confused.
Okay.
That's why lawyers make a lot of money, okay? And we can talk about that in chapter 8.
Okay,
The law is not in layman's terms. They don't
Okay.
make it easy.
So Ms. Colette,
yes.
yes, when you search through it, so far, can you tell us what the fines are?
Like I said, I picked up the wrong one because I picked up the 2000 and she said that's the wrong one. So I got to go back and look for the 2018 one.
Yeah, and again, that's the first thing when you, because I've had many persons just do 300-word papers, 3,500-word papers on wrong law. Please, first of all, don't rehash an entire body of law in any paper that you write. Second of all, the first thing you do is look at the date. All of the recommendations have been changed. What used to be number 1 is now number 20. So you can't be quoting recommendation 1 and it's now number 20. So you always look at the date and then the table of contents, okay? Because when you go to Google, the old versions come up first. So that's very crucial, okay? Okay, guys, good. So good discussion, and I'm very pleased that this is, like I said, last class of the chapter. Next week will just be review. Very intellectual group, and very focused. So I'm very pleased, and I have no from the homework what I've seen, and I definitely feel that y'all are prepared and will be successful in this exam. Okay, so we will look at chapter 7 and 8 now. So these are the last 2 chapters. So you all should know the protocol. You all should know. You all already read, and Ms. Bullitt should not have to talk the entire class. What you all say? You all read? Why haven't the birds?
I read from last for our last class, so I can't say it fresh, but I
Okay.
did.
Okay, so like I said, lawyers make a lot of money because they have all kind of funny words. It's not in layman's terms, and then they have amendments that are amendments. So here it is, you're looking for the 2018 version, and then they had an amendment. So that's why lawyers make a lot of money. And then they have these words like instrumentality. It's like, what is it?
Miss Bullitt, you are
Instrumentality.
cracking me up, Miss Bullitt.
I tell you, you might notice.
I am slipping off my chair from laughing so hard.
Okay, good. But I just tell you the truth from the real world, right? Yeah, so instrumentality is an inter alia and Latin terms. We don't know what these things mean, right? And so it's a headache going through all these papers.
Most lawyers don't know them Latin terms either.
Okay, and then it's like 100, 200 pages in the law to try to find what you're looking for. So, all of that is a problem. I have up on the screen just before we start, and there are a few articles. Now, what I realized from doing my research, the newspapers are not good at listing what these court orders are, right? And so it's very hard for you to find an example to what a production order is, or a freezing order, or what have you, to get a real life case. So you may have to go into the US if you want to give a real life case. But the book talks about the Proceeds of Crime Act, and we refer to that as POCA. And of course, that has been updated. And like Coletta said, she pulled up the 2001 version. It says section 43 and 24, but now it's section 13 and 14 in new law. So you want to be careful with that. And so the Proceeds of Crime Act, there are several orders under that framework that allows, if you break these laws, the FTRA, the FTRR, all the laws that we learned about in chapter 3, when you break these laws, POCA allows the police to prosecute you or for you to be investigated, and you can't go to jail. Okay, and so there's a framework that sets out orders, and there are 4 different types of orders. one is conviction-based confiscation, and this is confiscation by the proceeds of crime. Remember now, there are 21 crimes that fall under money laundering. So that means you committed one of those crimes: theft, tax evasion, bribery, corruption. So they can confiscate based on that crime you committed. Then there's a non-conviction based civil forfeiture. Confiscation through judicial proceedings. And I don't know if you remember back in the day, we had a lot of drug dealing was prevalent. And so we had all of Nighty Nose and the White Majors and Sean Isaacs. And what they found was that when they locked them up and they wanted to freeze some assets, nothing was in their name, right? And so therefore, they found that all their properties was in their mother's names or their girlfriend's names or their cousin's names, okay? And so this now non-conviction based civil forfeiture means you Sean Isaac's sister, right? And he don't have no assets, but you riding around in a BMW or you live in this house out Life a Key, and you never work. And so because you are in relation or an association with somebody who would have been charged with drug dealing, they are going to now investigate you, and you are going to have to, provide evidence on how you acquired all these assets. If you are unable to say, well, I work from 9 to 5, or I got an inheritance, or what have you, then your assets can be confiscated as well. Okay. Then there's unexplained wealth orders. Again, same premise. You're driving around in the BMW, you have a Learjet. There's no way you can produce evidence on how you acquired this wealth. And this is normally for the politicians. You're politically exposed. They want to know where this money come from. We want to make sure you didn't steal it from the people's purse. You can be prosecuted. And then an investigative order. Again, normally it comes in the form of a monitoring order or a production order. Okay. And so I have some slides to make it a little easier, and so to make sure everybody participates, I'm going to put it up on the screen. And this is just from one of the many, industry briefings that I attended. And so normally when the law comes out, they try and break it down, like I say, into some layman's terms and to make sure that everybody understands. So the law goes on to tell you that, of course, you have a duty to disclose, and when Colette goes into the law, she will see this. And we talked about this earlier about failing to disclose, as well as tipping off. Once you work in the financial services sector, at onboarding and that big package that your work says, sit down and read this, and nobody reads, and we just sign and say, yeah, we agree. We're agreeing that we will disclose, and we are agreeing that we will indeed not tip off anybody that we're disclosing. So the book goes on to talk about restraint orders and freezing orders, and they tell you the restraint orders fall under conviction based. The non-conviction based may be a freezing order. So let me just see on slide. It's 52. 1 second. Let me make sure I get the right slide. Okay. This talks about a seizure order, and I was actually able to pull something offline that happened locally. And so it says, the book says, an enforcement agency may be able to apply to the court to freeze property where he reasonably believes that the property is the proceeds of instrumentalities or terrorist property. If the court believes the property or part of it is proceeds of instrumentalities or terrorist property, they may make an order to freeze the property or preserve it. And so I think I was able to pull up this, just went to Tribune242.com, and this recently happened. Okay, here it is, where a U.S. court ordered seizure of a cruise ship dock in Bimini. And what the premise of this case is that they had owed some $1.2 million to their gas company. and they didn't pay their gas bill. And so I guess the gas company had a date by which it should have been paid. They passed that date, and then they decided that, hey, this gas company is in the United States and we are registered in the Bahamas, because of course we know that the Bahamas has the second largest cruise ship registry in the world. And so what we could do is we could just go down in the Bahamian waters and the big bad US ain't gonna be able to get us, right? However, in the interim, they had tried to apply for bankruptcy, and the court, I guess, found out where they were, and they sent out a seizure order in to the Bahamas. And I don't know if the defense force went out there and went on board and told the captain that they now have a, this boat is being seized. But I do see both they are reporting online that both boats are being sold to pay this big gas bill of $1.2 million. Okay, anybody familiar with the case or would have heard about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I remember this.
Okay, good. So good.
Miss Bullard, it's the same
Yes.
thing. Seizure is the same thing as freezing.
Yes, and in some cases, they may have a separate order. It just depends.
Because I think with freezing. Sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. Go on, Miss Billett.
No, go ahead. I'm not a lawyer.
No,
I'm
in
not a
my,
lawyer.
I know on my end, when they do freezing is for like a certain time frame. You'll have up to like 5 days with freezing. Seizure would be for like
Indefinite.
longer than that 5 day free. I mean that 5 day period.
Right. Because in the case with Alma Chase Campbell, where both her and her son, I guess, defrauded tourism. She is now trying to get her BMW back, right? And she is acting on the premise that her freezing order has expired, and it expired during the pandemic, so they wasn't able to get an extension. And she was saying on the premise that her seizure order or freezing order has expired, she would now want her BMW back. So yeah, I don't, the book doesn't, like I say, again, it's just to give an overview. It doesn't speak to, seizures, but it starts with a freezing order. And then I'm not certain if there's one that is, would you know, Tanishka, if there's one for seizures?
I don't know of a difference between seizure
and freezing.
Right. I know more about seizure, and that it is for, some people can argue that it is for a particular time and that it would have expired. Right. And then another school of thought would be that a seizure is a seizure.
Right. And so from the deck, it says on application by an authorized officer, the court may make an order for the enforcement or authority to search or seize property, including to enter by force and to seize any items which may serve as evidence or which may likely have been subject to a restraint order.
Right. That could be combined with a warrant. You need a warrant, and this will be part of the warrant to enter into somebody's premises.
Right. Correct. Okay, so just to give you an overview that there are many different types of orders out there. So in the financial services sector, the only thing that what I have seen has come into the bank is either a disclosure order or a production order. So of course, disclosure orders give right, for you to give testimony or require you to give testimony. And then of course, a production order asks you to produce.
Yeah, okay? Requesting for information.
Information, right. And so you will see that they actually, we were being sued by the French government. I work for the Royal Bank Trust. We were being sued by the French government. And so that's when I physically saw a disclosure order where they had asked that the CEO and the compliance officer fly to Paris and give testimony, okay, and on the account. And then they sent us a production order, and then we had to produce, we had copies of all the artwork. all the stolen artwork. And so therefore we had to produce those binders that we had on our person with all the stolen artwork. So production. So as a compliance officer, you should expect those two types of orders, either to come to court to testify or to produce certain documents in order to, facilitate the investigation. And with production orders, you have to be very careful. Under the Bankers and Trust Act, I think it just changed to section 77 now. It used to be section 19. We still have a duty of confidentiality to our customers. However, that duty does not, the FTRA trumps that duty. But when you do get these disclosure orders and these production orders, you're not to give the entire file. If they say we want the wire of 1700 on this date, you don't go
You just
and
give
the
that
wire,
particular information.
every wire that says 700, right? And you don't
You
give
just
the
give that
entire,
particular, whatever information is on that production order, and whatever that institution, another institution, whomever is requesting that information, you just give that particular information. You don't give them the whole file or whatever
and let them just go dig up some more stuff. Treat them just how you would treat. You want to cooperate, but you treat them like how you treat audit. Whatever audit asks for, you give them specifically. You don't want to audit digging up some more dirt, right? However, if there is information that would lead them to, I guess, somebody
their analysis,
right? Then you fill out a new STR and
you
let
send
them
it in.
still request that information just to protect the
you and the client,
right? Because of course, a lot of people just been on for technicalities, right? Not not off that they are innocent, but off somebody give too much information or somebody tipped off or something get in the wrong hand. So you want to be careful of all of that. Okay. Any questions so far? Are we clear? Okay. And this is for the all the politicians, all the people who on the bribery and corruption and what have you. We have again the Elma Chase Campbell. Where did she get this BMW from? How could she have afforded? I mean, she did. She was an ambassador. She was working at tourism. She's been a politician, in the political realm for a very long time.
She's also.
And she was in education too.
Perhaps
that's where she started. That was her first career
in education, eh?
Yeah, and then she became an attorney.
Oh, okay.
And then the political world came around.
Okay.
Oh, do you remember the next lady? Oh Lord, what another lady named from Freeport? Miss Tanisha, you could help me out. What the next lady from the next politician?
Oh, you mean Pleasant Bridgewater?
Right. Then she was involved in something similar.
Her situation was with
John Travolta. And his son died.
Right. But there was something about him purchasing property in West End. She was involved with some stuff, either paying the famous stamp duty and all of that.
But I didn't know it was a part of fraud. That's all I remember.
Stamp duty. Once they found out her connection with John Travolta, it turns out that payment of stamp duty was involved.
Nobody's going to jail. Nobody's going to jail.
No.
Right.
Well, especially when Pice will say she's free before the verdict was.
Right. But see, we have to be very careful because, all of our politicians that have been brought before the court, all of them have been set free. And of course, they're being internationally watched, and bribery and corruption all around the Caribbean. I mean, presidents have been impeached, ministers have gone to jail all over, but it seems that the Bahamas is just law abiding, and everybody who's being brought before the court, even though, it wasn't James Gibson's first rodeo, it wasn't this guy
Kendall Dorset.
Yeah, it wasn't their first rodeo. They're winning on a technicality and still able to sue the government. It's beyond me when you win on a technicality. This guy here, Chase, her son, was out on bail for defrauding BPL.
I
How
remember.
can you get a bail on top of a bail? Now you would have defrauded the Ministry of Tourism. And then the Vallis just, I don't know if you all realize when you go around the financial institutions, they smell so very well. The only legitimate business aspect is he has his air freshener company. And in 1 year, he was able to buy a jet and fly his family around the world privately in a private jet. So
The same gentleman, yeah?
The Vallis, the one on the end. So you now want to, where's the source of wealth? And very good if you're an honest Bahamian man and you just made this money. Very good if Chase Law Firm is doing this, good to have all this money. But I don't understand how you are on bail, you commit another crime of fraud, and you get bail again, and to the sum of $1.2 million.
Man, you get money.
It's beyond me. Only poor people just go to jail, remember that.
Yeah, you get money. And a Reckley woman ain't going to jail, right?
Okay, and Michelle Reckley, the same thing.
Yeah.
Nothing has come out of that case, and with most of these court orders, they say that they are not retroactive. So you would have seen that, where is Reckley? You would have seen as Reckley started off with 59 charges, and then a lot of them were dropped. The 6 persons who got arrested with her were let go, and they said at the time she committed the crime, it was not a law on books, and so therefore they were dropped. And so I don't know where this case is, but let's look at the amounts. $1.2 million, 317,000, and again, all this money was either in the Teachers Credit Union or in CIBC. So you wanna, this is why I'm saying you have to go to the institution and find out what systems help support tracking the transaction and what monitoring systems you have, and make sure you understand it, because a lot of these banks do not have savvy systems. Some things you have to do manually, but if you don't know that, you depend on the system to spit out a report, and one point she opens an account as a government employee, the next point she have $1.2 million. So CIBC and the Teachers Credit Union should be liable. But again, all these things are being not accounted for, and it's okay. And so, and then people are saying it's a witch hunt, and all these things. But if you look at what was happening just before that, it was Mother Pratt and Algernon Allen. People from this urban renewal was on TV complaining about the type of work they got, the shoddy work, the contractor not finishing, and Mother Pratt came on and said people just need to be grateful, and she is awesome in the community in terms of charitable donations and making sure people are helped. Okay, so I'm just saying, but it raised the alarm and people started talking and checking in Nassau and in Freeport, and this is what they found at the end of it. The same thing with CIBC again. I live in the East. On the weekends, every weekend, the ATMs were down. I had to drive downtown for 3-4 months. No ATM, the mall, Shell, none of the Shell locations, nowhere in the
Someone was hitting them.
Sorry?
Someone was hitting them.
The supervisor and the technician for the ATM was stealing the money out. And so
that's what there could be somebody, there could be something inside.
And listen, they had many complaints, and it was the complaints. There were so many complaints about the ATM. Wow. Hell, they did a check, and when they did a check, they found out that was what was happening, that these 2 persons were, the supervisor was manipulating her books, and the technician was stealing the money. And what did they buy? A large TV. They went on vacation. They bought a car, and they let them out on bail. What you think happened during the pandemic? They had changed all the codes for the ATMs except one ATM that was in Breezes. So what you think he did? That technician went and hit the ATM in Breezes. Okay? And so he took all the money from that. So they locked him up again. and then gave him bail. But unfortunately, he passed away like a month or so ago. So that's the end of that.
And the man, he done splurge on the money there.
Okay.
They live their best life.
Okay.
I telling you.
Okay, so unexplained wealth. You're driving these big time cars and the BMW, be living out west. Where did this money come from? Okay, and if you get it legitimately, fine. But if not, then you should be in jail. Okay. Okay, so again, that's an overview of some of the orders, just so you would understand the types: conviction-based, non-conviction-based, unexplained, wealth, and then investigative orders. And these are some of the cases. Like I say, this Michelle Rackley case has been around. Chase has been around.
Jonathan Ash case. What is this case?
Well, that was bribery and corruption under.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, under with Shane Gibson. Yeah. So that's squashed. But again, if you answer question 1 and you talk about bribery and corruption, definitely it's a good, case example to
Yeah, they're predicate
talk about.
offenses.
Sorry?
No, I remember I really those are called predicate offenses, right?
Yeah, predicate crimes that fall under money laundering. Yeah, so before 218, money laundering was not a predicate crime. So you would get charged with theft or stealing by reason of employment or just tax evasion. But today you should get charged with stealing by reason of employment and money laundering once you go and buy that TV, right?
That's right.
You make it seem to be legitimate funds. Once you deposit that into the bank, it's no law, it's dirty money. You put it into the bank because you stole that money, right? And so now you will see that the cases and the charges are a bit heftier because of the money laundering charge that goes along with these 21 crimes. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any question on the court orders? Very easy to answer. They normally ask you to compare and contrast and give an example on the exam. So people like those court order questions. And of course, they have all the, all the cases right on, local cases right there to support their information. Okay, are we good? We can go on to chapter 8.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Good. So chapter 8 talks about the roles of the various players in a financial organization. Okay, and again, this is another question that is always answered wrong. I don't know why, and I say this every class, and people still get it wrong. So y'all don't listen to Miss Bullet sometimes. Okay, and so the primary responsibility of the AML compliance system or the AML framework lies with the board. It is not the compliance department. It is not the compliance officer. Okay, the responsibility lies with the board. Okay, and so what happens is the board delegates its authority to senior management. So the head of compliance, the head of finance, the head of HR, the boards for the daily operation of the organization. It is dedicated or the responsibilities are delegated to whomever's in senior management. And so the board would only come in 4 times per year. And when they come in, you would see senior management running around like ducks with no heads, trying to get their board reports together and advising the board what would occurred in the organization for the last 3 months. So that head is really the advisor. The board is supposed to make a decision based on what the head would have said happened or if there's any discrepancy. And so you can delegate responsibility, however, you cannot, you are accountable. So even though you could have a head of compliance, if you are that board member, you are accountable. Okay, and a lot of people, sometimes board members, because of course, we always have a priest, right? And the priest, I guess, they're the prayer, keep the peace. Make sure people come into agreement. I don't know. but we had a lot of priests sitting on financial services board, and you ask them what a PEP is, and they simply did not know, and so that was found out by central banks. So of course, it used to be only entry level persons or and management needing training. Now the board, everybody, every person, attached consultants, external asset managers, everybody has to be trained, because you cannot sit on a financial services board and not understand finance, just talk about bribe proofs. If you want to sit on that board, you have to be trained. Okay. And so there are certain rules of the compliance department, and everything is looped together. And one of the challenges in financial services is that compliance wears so many hats. Okay, and so the regulators have seen this, and Securities Commission has gone as far as to put it into law that the compliance can only have that function, right? And so what they do is they lump everything under compliance, but organizations should again be following their risk assessment with this risk-based approach, whereas they, depending on the number of customers they have, the number of jurisdictions that they deal with, and the number of staff, then they decide whether or not you can have a one-man band or you need a full department. Now, of course, compliance makes no money for the business. Compliance saves the business from getting fines and perhaps reputational risk and bad media. However, the salespeople bring in all the money, and so of course they get all the big bonuses. And so compliance professionals have to fight. They already feel that we are overpaid, but of course they can see that we are also overworked. But you will have organizations trying to make you not only the compliance officer, but if you have a legal background, they want you to be legal. In fact, compliance is compliance, anti-money laundering, governance, and risk. And they would want you to be all of those persons in one. And if you have more than 100 customers from various jurisdictions, then you really should have more than one person. And these need to be senior positions. A lot of people say, yeah, here's your assistant. You have one senior and assistant, but you want to make sure that you're not wearing too many hats. And I used to do audit for a while. We went into one of these Fortune 500, very Canadian conservative banks. And we had one person, we were doing our audit. We said, we'd like all the governance information, go to Lottie. We'd like the risk information, go to Lottie. We'd like the compliance information, go to Lottie. We'd like the AML information, go to Lottie. We said, is Lottie the coordinator for this audit? They said, no, all of those things fall under her function. Okay, and so we stopped. We spoke to Lottie. We said, Lottie, how do you feel? She said, overwhelmed. And we said, okay, this audit has to stop. We need you to hire 4 persons to work along with Lottie to do all the positions she's been doing for the last 5 years. Okay, and we stopped the audit, and we gave them 1 month to hire senior persons in each of those positions that Lottie was responsible for. Okay, and so you want to, when you go on the interviews and become consultants or whatever you ask, is your business primarily high, medium, or low? Do you deal with high risk jurisdictions? How many customers do you have? How many staff do you have? Okay, because they will try to, like I said, cause you to be or make you be legal, compliance, corporate governance, a corporate administrator, and risk. Okay, and all of those are very heavy positions, depending on, like I said, if you have 50 clients, sure, you can wear 2 or 3 hats. But again, in the proper segregation of duties, you don't want, you want at least 4 eyes to check. You don't want one person making all the decisions, and a lot of times, companies look at the bottom line, and we had a CEO telling us he is the MLRO. All of that is a conflict of interest. So you want to be aware of stuff like that. So, and you don't want to be overwhelmed, because then you will be ineffective. And so, of course, we made them hire 4 other persons to work along with Lottie. And when we went back in, we could see that she was just too overwhelmed. There was nothing she could do. And they got a really terrible audit. And we said we'll be back in 1 year to see if the people that you hired could fix this big mess that you created. So some people like control. Gone are the days when the slaps are on the wrist, and nobody feels sorry for a Fortune 500 company. The politicians ain't going to jail. The poor people will go to jail and you can lose your job. Okay. So please, you can only mitigate risk. You cannot eliminate it. Okay. And so therefore you could be doing everything. You could know your job function, you could know your policy, you could know your procedure. And the hackers and scammers, they know their policy and their procedures, and they infiltrate your system. Okay, so make sure that you know your role, you know your function. And if you're not qualified for it, like all these people who sitting up on these boards, because there's a priest or a politician, get in the class, please. And I had somebody who was sitting up on the board and he said, I don't think I need to go any further than so. I said, you sitting on a bank's board? Who cousin you is? And so please, before these things catch up with you, you may, you qualify yourself. Okay, go all the way if you wish to be a representative, because you would need to speak knowledgeably. Gone are the days, like I say, things are gonna change and they change quickly. Don't let it catch up on you. Okay, and so the book talks about the compliance department, and so compliance should deal with policy and procedure, reviewing workflows, making sure the business is compliant, liaising with the regulators. Okay, not doing the work, and compliance should always be independent of the business, but compliance has to fight for that independence. Compliance should always report directly to the board. In fact, in my last position, they had me reporting with a dotted line for HR matters to the CEO. And luckily, and then I explained to them, this is what the law says, and they don't listen. And so when they sent it to the regulator said, she's not approved until y'all move this dotted line. She reports directly to the board. No CEO, no HR. If she needs vacation, she'll let the board know she wishes to go on vacation at this particular time, and she would advise the bank. But they don't want to let go of control. Okay, and so there should be no influence. No, and it's really real, and so you don't want a CEO writing your end of year and threatening you with no bonus because you didn't approve his account. Okay, so try, it's supposed to be that way, but in the Bahamas we have a lot of work to get to that. But the regulator gives you an audience once a year to come in, speak to them about these issues that you may be facing if they try to influence your decisions, if they don't work with you. Okay, or they work against you, which they will. Okay, so you want to, like I said, compliance will be policy and procedures, making sure you meet the deadlines, liaising with the regulators. The AML team should be looking at the triggers, be monitoring and approving accounts. Then there should be an MLRO. Okay, and this could be attached to the senior person who is managing the entire department. Normally, whoever is the compliance department, they want you to do compliance, AML, and be the MLRO. Be very wary of that if you have more than 100 clients. Okay. Then it goes on to talk about the main responsibilities. Of course, we learned in the statutory requirements that the role of the MLRO is to receive internal SDRs, evaluate SDRs, determine if they have merit, and then write up the suspicious transaction report form, send it on to the FIU. And again, you don't ask anybody to send in that information, because I've had CEOs come and tell me, oh no, it's not necessary. I said, oh yes, I was just letting you know. and so you don't even have to tell them. And it's best that you do things like that in, confidentiality. If you have a CEO that is just focused on revenue and not very AML focused, you want to be careful of that. The tone comes from the top. You want to be aware of the culture that is established in the institution. And like I say, I see an institution that the culture is very bad. They have to let everybody, because it's very hard to retrain those people. Those people been there for 20 years. You come and try and tell them that they got to work harder for no more pay. That's blood. Okay, so you want to be careful of that. And then with risk, there are 3 lines of defense. There is the front line, and management is the first line, compliance is the second line, and then internal audit is the last line of defense. And the role of internal audit is to prevent, detect, and investigate. The functions is an independent function to improve and check the effectiveness of the risk management, control, and governance. And when I was auditing, the first thing we do, and this is what we're doing with the board now, bring your CVs. Okay, we need to see those resumes. And if you don't have sufficient knowledge, sufficient education, or 20 years of experience, we give you 12 months to get in the class. If you don't get in that class, you go home. Okay, because the chances, we working with you right now, you already have the position. We don't know how you slipped through the cracks, but the law has changed now, and we ain't going to jail. So they gonna say, did you not identify that this person or this whole department, we saw a finance department, nobody have a CPA, how? So that's a control. Finance department, somebody has a CPA. Trust department, somebody has STEP. Like I said, gone are the days when it could just be cousins and friends and lovers and your church member, So you have to make some changes, or you get these church members in and you make them go to class if they drop out of school or have a high school diploma, because you could tell, you could see it in their work, you could see it in the way that they act, that they're not trained. Okay, it becomes obvious, and when internal audit comes in, that's the we look at the tone and the attitudes and how the excuses that management comes up with. So at least look good in the opening meeting. Okay, and then the book goes on to talk about who are the regulators, the central bank, they regulate banks, the Securities Commission, the securities industry, the broker dealers, and the digital asset people, the FTXs, and what have you, the insurance commission, or the insurance companies, the gaming board, the gaming houses, the 2 casinos, Atlantis and Bahama, all the island locks, the shore winds, and most recently the compliance commission. They do the accounting firms, the law firms, and the broker dealers and the jewelry places. And these are the ones that have a corporate service providers arm or financial service providers arm. So not the criminal lawyers, okay? Not the tuck shop accountants, but the ones who offer financial services to their customers. Not the real estate people who just sell local real estate, but the ones who have that corporate service providers are. Okay? And so guys, that's it. That's all Ms. Bullock got to say. Any questions on chapter 8? You all sleep?
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No questions.
No questions? That was clear?
Yeah. So I just have one question about the points that we will be reviewing next week, though. So those points will aid in helping us with the final. So when you give in your pointers, I guess everybody should be taking notes, or are we going to receive these points from everyone or something? Like to help?
What you mean? I confused.
She said we're gonna take notes. Yeah, as every group speaks, we will take notes from them.
Right, and you would validate that as sufficient for the review?
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, please don't come with no hurt feelings next week, okay? You all please come prepared, because I'm going to say no points, or don't write that, or that makes no sense. Okay, and it's not this tough love to make sure that you are prepared. Just like I say, people write 5 pages of garbage and I give them 1 point. So we, you know, what
I
you
prefer
what I
that
see
though. I
is-
really appreciate you doing that.
Thank you, because people say, "Oh, Miss Bullet, you're so offensive," and that's very harsh. I did an entire PowerPoint presentation. I said, "For what? To give us too much information, you know?" So please, y'all come toughen up for next week, and we can get through this. And you know, we can only walk away with 7 essays is a lot. We'll only walk away with information that is needed. Okay, to be successful.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. So guys, good job. Like I say, you all know where you are going, what you're going into the exam with, and we'll give you some, you know, housekeeping rules for next week when we come to go through the review. I think Shanika, we want to give it Shanika a chance to tell us what she read in the newspaper. Shanika, you getting this 5% or what you doing?
I thought I already got mine for last week.
Oh,
It's doing it every class.
Was it you? Who was it that I said go to the newspaper and so you could get 5 points? It wasn't you, Shanika?
No, ma'am. Please make sure put down my 5% for my newspaper.
Shanika, let me see if you on my list because I swear it was you because you joined late. Okay, your name there. Your name on.
Miss Bullet, that was me.
Oh, Christine. Okay, sorry, I just following the wrong. Y'all, Miss Bullet over now. Y'all have to give me a little break with all these names. This 20 people is a lot. Okay, Christina, you go ahead. Get your 5%, please.
Oh, you wanted me to go now?
When else you could go, Christina?
I thought you was telling me next week, you know.
She said
Nah,
go read the paper
I ain't
now.
that confused. I ain't that confused now. Please, somebody help me with it.
Yeah,
What Miss
she
Bullet
said
tell her?
go read the newspaper now so you can share.
Yeah, you said to read it now so you could share at the end of class.
Okay, there you go, Christina. So if you're
Yeah,
prepared, that's fine. And it ain't only you. At least you joined late, so you have an excuse. Couple people, just Miss Bullet don't even know who they is, and this is the last class of the book. So don't worry about it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Go ahead, Tatisha.
I have my 30 points, right? Just wanna, be sure.
40 points, Tatisha. You are 40. I just joking. Let me see.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ms. Bullet.
Tatisha,
I guess
Tatisha.
I'm kind of stalling for Christina. You could go through your list and find out if anybody joined the class late and was not, and the persons that you don't know yet. I don't know if you want to do last chance.
I do every chance possible from the beginning.
Read an article.
We take an hour to going through this list because Miss Bullet list is all mixed up now. I have everybody, and that's it. So, Christina, yes, you did join late. We'll do only Christina next week. The rest of you all, Miss Bullet don't know. I
clarified who is Danielle now, right?
Yes, Danielle, I have your name because, like I said, I didn't know no Danny Winters. Okay, so because I don't want you to be rushed. Christina, next week at the beginning, before we start, we'll have your newspaper article so you can get your 5 points, and that's it. Everybody else, nobody, all have Miss Bullet, nobody else. One person next week, and then we'll move into the review. Okay, because I don't want it to be rushed. Okay, and like I said, please, the homework, that's it. If you do not send any homework, that is, don't call Miss Bullet. You know, you had sufficient time. I looking at this list, is 20 of you all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 6 persons, no homework. Okay, y'all please send it on our time, or Tanishka ain't gonna be there to save you. Right, Tanishka?
Right, I'm trying to get, I
And
want to
Tanishka,
get,
you doing homework? You helping anybody with homework?
if they reach out to me, I'm willing to help.
Okay, well, good luck.
Because
I hope they don't
because
reach out to Tanishka on Monday.
Right, no, don't reach out to me on Monday, no.
Yeah, or Sunday. She's a God-fearing woman. She could be. If you don't call her
Thank
by
you.
Saturday, she can't help you.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I encouraging everybody to
Definitely.
dig deep, get the
And-
last assignment in.
And guess what? If you all don't know who your teacher is by now, I see people last class send it to Miss Dean. No. If you don't know that your teacher is Miss Bullet by now, you fail. Okay? So that we give enough concessions. We had to cut it. Last class was awful in terms of homework and stuff. And when they didn't pass, they didn't know why. But it's very tough, like I say, to get that 100%. So be prepared, guys. Be prepared.
Well,
Okay.
Miss Bullet.
Yes.
Who was
Oh,
that?
sorry. It's Bria.
My teammate, you could go ahead.
I was saying see how we didn't disappoint you. Remember when you was talking at the beginning of the class, saying how you give so much leeway and they
People
take
report you.
advantage.
Yes.
Yeah, we ain't report you yet.
Thank you, Bria. Thank you. Thank you.
You say yet.
Y'all was much better. I'm sorry, I had to beat y'all with their spec, but they was awful. They was awful.
So we can need a good review next class.
Okay, yeah, no man, you all have a good review right now. It's just like I say, it's those 6 persons, and like I say, across the board, no homework, no participation, no civic, and so they have no points. And then next week, it'll be Miss Bullet do this and Miss Bullet do that, brimstone and fire on Miss Bullet head. But I used to it, so I fine. Go ahead, Lottie.
Yes, Ms. Bullard, I just
Yeah.
wanted you to elaborate on the blue economy reforms for me, please, because I read an article with the IDBS taxpayers boost for the 385 million, the government bond issue. I don't know if anyone saw that on Tuesday in the business.
Lottie, why you think Miss Bullet know about all these things? Huh? What do you think? Anyway, you have to be information seeking. I actually do know about the blue economy.
Okay.
So the blue economy is the marine life economy, and then there's an orange economy that is for artisans, right? So
Okay.
the blue economy is about, saving marine life, making sure that we be responsible. There is something called hydro. Oh, I don't know the word. You have to Google it. Hydro, something where you could.
You mean hydroponics?
Yeah, hydroponics. Yeah, you see, smart girl. So hydroponics, and that's basically growing, like they say, the conch could be extinct in a couple of years. And so now you want to start a conch farm, or you could grow these shrimp rather than go into the, we don't produce shrimp in large quantities in the Bahamas. So we could kind of make shrimp. And then, the fish guts is like a fertilizer. And so you could use that for fertilization and stuff like that. And so they basically want you to create these marine nurseries like for sustainability. And in order to, get these industries up and booming, the IDB, the Small Business Development Center, all these various entities, they are giving you grants or they are giving you loans, but they are offering financing. And so if you are in if that's your area, marine biology and stuff like that, or you are just a fisherman, there's funding and financing out there. And so you could go to the Bahamas Development Bank website. They have the whole thing on the blue economy. And then, like I said, if you're an artisan, they have all the information on the orange economy, how they, for the people in the orange economy, which are the artisans, like musicians and all the people who do the straw work or create artifacts and stuff like that. They just gave all of them Apple laptops about 22 persons apply. They normally have a form, you fill it out, and they give them, access to technology. So, and like I say, they come in the form of grants as well. And so that's what the IDB is saying, that, $5 million for the Caribbean. And so Bahamas will probably get 2 million. And so you go and apply. So if you are interested in that, this is a good initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Because again,
Thank
all
you.
about sustainability and, stop taking all the fish out of the ocean, stop taking all the conch, let's grow them and stuff like that. And then whatever the hydroponics, system all about. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect.
good.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other questions or concerns? There was a hand raised, but I don't see it anymore. No?
That was me in there. I came in late.
Okay, because I
Um,
just asked who was in there, Adley. I don't know in there, Adley. I guess that was one of the first things I said in the beginning.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
I was wondering if I did do a Toastmasters. I came in late. I knew you usually do at the beginning of the class. I did my homework. I already got a
Right,
response from that.
that's the only way I knew your name, because I thought I have an Indira in another class. And I said, but this person, I have them on the list for homework. So I was wondering if I had you confused with, I kept saying who was Indira. Okay,
No.
go ahead.
This is me. I didn't get the whole of the meeting. I kind of joined that meeting late. It was the BPSU Majestic Marlins Toastmasters Club. And I got, the presenter was talking about the power in small groupings. It's a smaller group. And what they did was they highlighted all of the certifications that the group has. And the point was that although they were small, they were a powerful group. They had a strong impact. So like I said, I didn't get the beginning of the meeting, but
So you didn't get the word of the day.
no, they were showcasing the different members after she spoke, the different members who did different certifications throughout the year.
Okay, and so you found this intriguing, or do you want to join, or? No.
I don't think I want to join. I used to be a part of a Toastmasters years ago.
Okay.
Maybe I'll go back to them.
Okay, but years ago, I mean, have you seen it as, beneficial or being a part of that group?
I only stopped the other group because it was time constraint, and then COVID came, so that was the end of that.
Okay, but for the persons who are thinking about joining, are you finding it better being a part of that group?
I was impressed of some of the things that they were able to accomplish in the span of the year, the number of certifications and participation. Yeah, I was impressed by that.
Okay, and what about what I'm asking you? You say you've been in Toastmasters for a number of years, but you stopped, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what are the benefits of being in Toastmasters in the group that you are part of?
One of the benefits is being able to think quickly, to be able to assess listening. That's one of the big things. Being able to assess conversations as they occur, you're more attentive. So if your name is called, you can speak. It gives you confidence in speaking. It gives you that exposure to different topics, whether it
What
is
about
that you
different
have to,
people?
yeah, definitely interacting with different persons. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I only stopped because of time constraints with
Okay.
kids and all that stuff.
Okay, understood. Okay, understood. Okay, great. Thank you for sharing. Christina, you done read the article. I see your hand up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, Christina.
Okay, so I read the article on the 2 RBDF officers that went to the Queen's Platinum Jubilee event.
Okay, good.
They received backlash for what it was that they were wearing. One of the female officer, she was pictured wearing some green Crocs, and the guy, he was wearing his regular work uniform. Um, BDF responded, and I guess they explained the situation. The girl, she had a sore on her foot. They actually participated in the parade in full uniform. However, afterwards they changed. And so, yeah.
Yeah, but Christina, you know, I feel like this is where the tough love come in. And I just don't think it was appropriate. I mean, if
No,
I
I
understand,
understand that
yeah,
too.
you could have a
That
foot
too.
injury, but there would have been more appropriate shoes and a different color that you could have worn that would not have made a spectacle of the event.
Right.
That,
And
that's
it was
just my take.
green, man.
Miss
Yeah.
Christina,
The colors.
Miss Christina,
Hey,
yeah, who you said these persons was? Who you said who was there? Who were they?
Defense
were they?
force.
Our defense force?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That
So
ain't how
our
the
government,
story
our
go.
government selected them to send them there?
That is not how the story
Yeah, it
go.
was
We,
the
we, we
that
mainly
was
go by what we
practice.
see in the news, but that ain't how that story go. Because the gentleman, that picture was taken from he first reached, and he had just finished doing something when he had on that uniform. And like you say, social media is a serious thing. That happened days before the ceremony, but they put it in then to say that's what he did. And
Yeah,
it
they
was
said
like,
I heard it was before the actual event.
So they
yes,
was
that
trying to
was
frame
it.
him.
So, but what about this? Because her picture is showing with her receiving the award in those shoes.
Yes, they said she had
Right.
on her shoes, and they realized that she was limping, and they took her off the parade and tell her she needs to take it off. But like I tell them, with something like that, even though I was being honored, they took me off, and I would have stayed off.
That's right.
You're right. And it would
That's
have
the
been a more,
difference there.
like I say, the backup shoe, because you know you have a problem, could have been way more appropriate than what she wore. I'm sorry.
Miss Fuller, I saw a comment saying like the medic gave her those Crocs. You know, I don't know.
Yes, that's what they did, and that's why I say once they took me off, I would have stayed off. I wouldn't have gone back to represent the country. No.
Right, or let somebody accept it on her behalf, but don't make a spectacle of it.
Yeah.
That's what happened with those shoes. Okay, so I mean, like you say, social media is very vicious, and they could change up a lot of stuff. Don't put it out. Don't give them the opportunity. Don't even put it out there. You know.
So these two persons were selected to, travel on, well, to go to the ceremony on the country's behalf.
Yes, they were honored.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just didn't look good. However you fix it, no matter what it was, it just didn't look good. So yeah, okay, Christina, very good. Because they was talking about that the whole week. Very good, very good. Okay, somebody else had their hand raised. Somebody else wanted to say something.
Yeah, I had my hand raised.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, so I just put I was in the class the whole time, but I was at work, so I couldn't do no
You
talk.
sure? Because I guess saying, boy, Stephen, you make a good first impression, and I ain't see you for the last 3 weeks. You will see her?
The last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I ain't see you for you treating this like a relationship, Stephen.
No, he was present. He was present.
Miss Bullock speak with you so highly. My only gentleman in this class. And
yes, though he was present, he just was quiet.
Okay, yeah, he was quiet after that. After he get all his points in the first class. So that's fine. That's fine, Stephen. You go ahead.
The last class I had some renovation going on, so I had to monitor what they're doing inside my place, and I just coming in from work, so I couldn't really talk during the session.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, I just wanted to speak about what I've read a few days ago in the business section, and it's about the Prime Minister talking about earning carbon credits.
Okay.
So what I've seen is that since there's a possibility that oil might be in the Bahamas, and what the Prime Minister is trying to do is use that to bring in more revenue to the Bahamas by carbon credits. For those who don't know what carbon credits is, but carbon credits basically is a tradable permit or license that allows whoever owns it to emit a certain amount of carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases, or they can even sell it to other companies in order for them to have a higher emission rate. Those who don't have carbon credit, because it declines over time, they pay hefty fees in order to continue doing whatever it is they're doing. So like drilling companies, those sort of stuff. And what I've seen is that the PM, it doesn't seem as though he has an intention of, if there is oil, to drill it, because it can be a serious coastal disaster. But however, he can use the credit to sell to other companies that may need to finish drilling wherever they at and that sort of thing. That I see that can be a really good source of income for the Bahamas, other than just relying on tourism itself.
Okay,
So
yes, and the Prime Minister is all about the climate change and those initiatives and supporting them, and a lot of companies too. Another thing you need to read up on is these credits and the goodwill that companies have, and so a lot of companies are looking at their carbon footprint and environmental aspects in financial service and various different types of initiatives out there. So don't be surprised if you're an institution talking about it. Yeah. Okay. So read up on it so you again be knowledgeable and be able to speak to it because it's coming. Okay. So very good, Stevie. Okay, guys. So very good, very informative class. Thank you all for sharing. And like I said, next week everybody has a list and we know what we need to do, get together with our teammates and then come ready to present next week. And I'll give out some housekeeping tips for the Institute when you go, and some of the rules that you must follow when you get there. Okay. So have a great week, guys, and have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week, Wednesday.
Good night, you too.
Okay. All right. Have a good evening.
Good night.
You too. Bye.
Good night, all.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.